Hey guys, so I got Ben Stacey back with me today. He's come down for a session. We're gonna have a little chat about certain topics. So one thing I wanted to ask you, Ben, is obviously you coach quite a few high-level lifters.
Yep.
One of which being a friend of mine also, Dave Richardson, who's one of the best
Sir
lifters
Dave.
in the UK, Sir Dave himself.
King of Europe.
Yep, absolutely. And I just wanted to basically do a sort of slight deep dive into how you approach someone who is an elite level lifter like that. Because obviously we both coach a lot of novices, we both coach a lot of high level people, but specifically for elite level like Dave, what are some of your approaches and stuff like that?
So from a more psychological standpoint, I have to hold elite lifters back more.
Yeah, that's pretty common, isn't it?
Yeah, so the big mindset difference between elite level lifters and beginners, novices, is the higher level lifters generally just want it more. It's part of the reason why they're there in the first place.
100%.
Like most of them,
they know how to graft.
In their own right, they're fucking nutcases.
Yeah.
And it's very evident with Dave. Those that know Dave know how much he's willing to push. The geezer's prepared to break his arm twice in an attempt to get better too quickly. And even still, that dialogue of trying to hold him back can be really, really tricky. The other big significant difference would be just training frequency. Someone that's really, really new will probably need to do something more to get that little bit more exposure at lighter loads, like to just get movement pattern in sooner, where someone that's more advanced, they probably should know how to do it by that point. So we don't need to have, squats twice, 3 times a week.
So,
whatever.
I mean, we just did like a rapid fire thing, and in that you said one of your favorite quotes about strength training in general is less is more. So I guess to those elite level lifters, that sort of applies even more so.
I will pull it in a little bit quicker with my amateur lifters and novice lifters. Like once I think they've got to a certain level, that frequency will drop very, very quickly. I don't like the ideology of really, really high frequency training when it's not necessary.
Yeah, it normally leads to like overuse and stuff, doesn't it? And when someone's already good, they don't need crazy exposure to...
No, and I mean, in terms of Dave, in terms of powerlifting, that's still really, really popular. Guys want to deadlift twice a week, bench 4 times a week, squat 3 times a week. It's just not necessary. The best of the best at a high level, when you're actually strong and you've got good movement patterns, I always ask the question to those people when I come across them, and I ask them, what's that second session actually doing?
100%.
And they go right round the hills on answering me because they can't.
Because they can't really pinpoint. That's an interesting one as well, because obviously someone like Dave is, a 400 plus raw deadlifter. Like I think his best is 432.5 in competition, 435.
438.
438, Jesus.
Yeah.
So someone like him, training pools are going to be sort of 800 pounds plus, 350 kilos plus. Like you can't be doing that every week to your body, or twice a week if so.
Dave will try.
He
will
what
try.
kind of, how do you approach sort of structuring something like that where their top end is so heavy?
Yeah, realistically, I mean, one thing I always try to bear in mind, and it helps me as a coach as well, where when you look at percentages, even though the percentages will be heavy, you have to respect that it's also not heavy for Dave. And feedback is also quite integral. So Dave can lift 60 to 70% of his 1 rep max, which is still in that 300 kilo range.
Yeah, which is crazy.
But he flicks it up like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And it takes absolutely nothing out of him, and it doesn't actually take him much time to recover.
Yeah.
Dave is also a bit of an anomaly. He does recover really, really well.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why he is a super freak.
Yeah, legit.
But generally speaking, it is about, like back in the days with the Lilla bridges and stuff like that, they'd pull every 14 days. We just space it out. I mean, one of my guys, Harry, he's a high level suited lifter, single lift, deadlift only. He deadlifts every 9 days. So just more rest time. Just more fun.
And in terms of peaking him for sort of multiple, obviously he's coming back from injury right now, but when he was competing, he had a sort of 2-year stretch where he competed a lot at incredibly high level competitions with actually quite a lot of money on the line and stuff like that. How do you approach multiple peaks where you need to be at your strongest and your best for someone like him multiple times a year?
It's tricky. It is really, really tricky. I will always have the conversation with him. We'll look at the whole timeline and I'll ask him which one means the most. And that's the one where we will really throw all of our eggs into one basket for that one competition. And then the rest of the time, it's just making sure that the moment that first competition is done, is we have a significant block of time for him to decompress and recover before we go again. with someone like Dave that's that strong as well, they don't actually need that long to peak back up again.
Yeah, I bet.
We can do it over 6 weeks if we need to. Because Dave's baseline of strength is so high all of the time, which is also part of the reason why it's difficult to hold him back, because his baseline's ridiculous. But yeah, we'll just, as soon as that comp's done, get a good time into deload, decompress, come away from powerlifting for a little bit, maybe change the equipment that he uses to go back to safety squat bar, or add some variation in there so it's not as specific, just to give him like almost like a mini off season before we then commit again.
I think that's especially important for powerlifting, isn't it? Because you know it's 9 attempts, 3 lifts. It's so hyper specific. It's not like strongman where like, you know, a month later you might have 5 totally different events where you can sort of be adaptable with it. You know, powerlifting, you need a specific amount of time to actually peak those 3 lifts and be able to make some improvements. So it must be quite hard in that regard to
it can
be selective on competitions. But I guess that's another interesting point is as you do get more advanced, and you know we obviously both coach powerlifting and strongman. As you do get more advanced in those two sports, being more selective is quite important. You know, you can't just do every competition under the sun. So I guess, as you said, with someone elite like him, it is right. Which competitions are the full focus? You know, we only can be doing those ones.
It's becoming more and more of a problem, and something very difficult for high level coaches to deal with. Is that there's so many big comps now.
Especially and a lot more offering money and stuff as well, which is, you know, a big temptation.
They want the pull, they want those people to come in. And inevitably it's like, okay, I'm yet to really get into, I'd love to pick the brains of people that are coaching the likes of the Stoltmans and stuff like that when they are competing. I mean, they've had to change the battle plan anyway. For Tom, 100%. Where he can't compete 7 times a year. It's just
it became
not viable. And we're seeing that more and more. And I think as much as there might be some theory and some ideology around how you could get someone to compete 7 times in a year, I think the one thing that happens the same every single time is they just get chewed up and spat out. I don't think it's actually doable. I'm yet to see it. It's where someone can compete at a high level every single time.
It's very rare.
Even like with Mitchell Hooper, we thought we were witnessing a super freak got chewed up and spat out.
I mean, and it could be, you know, after 3 competitions, or it could be after like 23, like it was with him or whatever. But it does
happen at some point. Your body can't keep up for that long. Not at that level with those weights. Not really.
That's good insight. And then the last thing I wanted to ask was, in high level and sort of elite lifters, you obviously want to be able to coach them and give them sort of form advice and make some tweaks to their technique and stuff. Whereas maybe with a novice or a beginner, you'd actually do, you know, a lot of things at once in terms of changing their technique. In terms of someone like Dave, you know, who's already technically very sound, very brilliant, how do you approach making any changes or tweaks to his technique?
The biggest one really is more so reminders as opposed to changes.
Gotcha.
That's definitely a big one. One thing me and Dave have worked on a lot recently as a prime example is just bracing and stability on his bench, because obviously his arm's broken, or was broken, and he's building back through, so he's not on heavy weights yet. I think the most he's gone up to yet is about 117-ish kilos, and he's lazy. He's being lazy.
Gotcha.
Lazy with his bracing. I'm like, dude, your arm's broke. There's nothing wrong with your rib cage. There's nothing wrong with your upper thoracic. Like, let's use this time to ingrain that even more. But in terms of changing technique, gradual and patient, very, very small, specific changes and patient, and then lots and lots and lots of feedback to make sure that they're happy. But then, as the coach, you have to decipher between what is usable and emotional feedback. So sometimes, oh, it just feels shit. Okay, well, why? And eventually
like dig a little bit deeper.
Well, that's because this is moving my back in this way, and it's like, well, okay, push your elbows down a little bit more, drop your shoulders down when we set up on that bench with your fingers wider. How does that feel? Oh yeah, loads better. Wasn't the grip width that was the issue, it's,
a few deeper things, No, I rate that, and it's sometimes it's almost like reminding them of the quality of their lift. So a few of my high-level guys is making sure they're not getting sloppy with their lockouts, not getting lazy with certain positions that they're in and stuff like that. That's more important than actually making any overhauls on their technique. So
especially in powerlifting where they've got to lift to a standard, like a really high standard.
Even more applicable in powerlifting, absolutely, when you've got all the strict conditions that they need to lift in. Very insightful. Thank you very much, Ben. Appreciate your insights. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Obviously, yeah, we both coach a lot of sort of novice to elite level lifters, but it's just good to get that insight on how to actually approach certain topics that come up with your elite level lifters like Dave. So thank you, Dave, for being a great case study.
Yeah, cheers, Dave.
And we'll see you guys next time.